Some years ago, I was visiting a hospital, and I went to visit a parishioner there, and the parishioner was having a conversation with her sister while I was walking in, and so happened that the surgeon had come a little earlier to talk to her, and the patient with the parishioner was saying, this doctor, she says, God has no bedside manners at all, she said. And the sister was saying, but I heard he's a very good surgeon. Would you prefer to have a better surgeon or a person with good bedside manners? And the lady said, I would like both, thank you. So you see, in life, we don't have to have one or the other. We seem to choose one at detriment of the other. If we work, we have no time for prayer. If we socialize, we have no time for going to Mass because it's too late or too early to wake up. So in life, we seem to think we only have to choose one, because if we choose both, there's no time for both, so we have to choose only one. But indeed, we can choose both. There's no harm in trying to have good bedside manners. Because you're a good surgeon, that doesn't mean you can be crappy with everybody else. So in life, it's very important to realize you can have both and do both at the same time. And today we are celebrating the feast of Saints Cosmas and Damian. These were twin brothers, both physicians, doctors, and they had very good bedside manners. They cared so much for those under their care to help them alleviate their suffering, tended to them, and at all times in the way they carried out this work was done with great love and care for them, and always bringing Christ to them, to bring the ultimate healer into their life. And so these two men at the time were great witnesses of Christ's presence. So what is heard of them is very little, but what little we've heard causes us to reflect greatly on these two doctors at that time. They were known in the East as the moneyless ones, which means they cared for people without taking any money in return for the services they were carrying out. So much was their love for those suffering, like Christ did, always heal those who came to him. They sought as their mission to carry this healing of Christ to others. We do know that they suffered martyrdom in Syria because during the Emperor Diocletian, who was against Christians and Christianity itself, because he was a religious conservative and favored the traditional Olympian gods, and therefore he did everything he could to get rid of Christianity in his empire. So you see, the people who they are, Cosmas and Damian, their great love for those suffering and caring for them and not taking any money for the services they were rendering, made them very popular and prominent in a time where Christians were being persecuted and put to death. And because of their faith and their fame as good doctors and carers, they eventually were arrested by Lysias, the governor of Cilicia in Turkey, and was condemned to death. And after several attempts to put them to death, which never happened, they eventually they beheaded Cosmas and Damian. And their remains were taken to Cyrus, a place close to Aleppo. Now this devotion to the two saints spread rapidly in both East and West, and the famous basilica was erected by Emperor Justinian in the 6th century. He claimed his healing to be brought about after he interceded to Cosmas and Damian. And then their names were placed in the Roman canon in the 6th century. So when we say the first Eucharistic prayer, there's a whole section of saints who are named, and these two names are in that section. So it's important for us in our life to say, yes, we can choose both. We can choose to work and to pray. We can choose to have a good social life as well as a good time for prayer in our families. We can choose both. We don't have to choose one at the detriment of the other. And at all times, whatever we choose, Christ must be at the center of everything. And so as we come to this Eucharist, we ask the intercession of Cosmas and Damian, the great healers in their time, to intercede for us, especially in these times where we are kind of all emotionally a bit sick at this time of all the things that's happening around us. And so we ask them to intercede for us, to help us in these difficult times, to bring Christ to the center of our lives. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.